Asha Venkatramani. I'm the founder of Sparky, and I'm representing Sparky Me Limited, the company based out of Ireland. I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to present the innovation nomination for Sparky, and in front of a very, very esteemed and I think it's a great panel and a jury to present to. So thank you so much. I think there are 5 things I would like you to know upfront about it. Is that Sparky has been nominated for 3 innovation awards in Q1 of 2023 across USA, Europe, and Asia, and is currently bootstrapped. And I think what's really awesome is the fact that the first innovation nomination that I'm presenting for is from India. So that sort of sets things off on the right note. The second great thing that you need to know is that I've been invited to set up office in Greece and launch Sparky commercially from there by the Ministry of Innovation, Investments, Research and Development, and I'm being supported by EGG for this. Sparky will operate in Eurobank-backed EGG offices in Athens, and I have advisors like Lacey Hunter and Dr. Alejandro Hotel, among others, to thank for making this happen. Sparky has a design registration in Europe and a patent pending status in USA. There is dialogue underway about running research pilots in Europe around the use of Sparky with migrants and teens. And the last thing that you need to know upfront, and I know this may disappoint some people, is that Sparky is not disrupted, but will be on the same shelf as Instagram. Okay. A little bit about myself, which I think is relevant probably for the jury to know, is that I am a 3rd-generation migrant maternally in India, a 2nd-gen professional, and a 1st-generation entrepreneur. I've lived in 5 cities, 2 countries, gone to 9 schools and colleges, worked in 4 organizations. I'm a chartered accountant by education who knows very little of accounting. I worked in strategy, investment banking, M&A, restructuring, on private and private equity, on complex financial instruments, credit enhanced bonds and products, and so on and so forth, across sectors with Ernst & Young, KPMG, and Actis. My interest in tech and behavior started with my fintech foray, which I call a behavioral experiment and a trial pancake of sorts. Entrepreneurship is something I learned at Ernst & Young, and that's something I am really grateful for. The last thing that you really need to know about me is that I hold a patent with a pending status in USA and a GUI design registration in EU. I had also filed for and subsequently withdrew an innovation patent application in India. I think this entire patent foray into patents is something which I call a positive COVID outcome. I just want to give you a quick backdrop on what exactly is Sparky, although you might already be aware of it with the pre-nomination material we sent across. But Sparky is a fresh behavioral design approach to a standalone calendar for post-COVID lifestyles, which basically cuts across user generations and appeals to both the left and right brain. It has been designed to solve for the complex issues and needs of users living in developed countries like Europe and USA. I'll just run you through a quick demo of
Sparky is simplified lifestyle calendaring for successful people on the go. It's designed to help you network, organize, and maintain an Uber lifestyle. Sparky is intuitive to use and it makes it easy to schedule meetups. So how do you put Sparky to work for you? Well, download the app from the App Store or Play Store and sign up. This gets you to the home screen, which shows you at a glance what your day looks like in the form of emojis and scheduled time along with today's date. Hit the date or calendar icon below to get a detailed view of your schedule for the day or the month. With Sparky, you can plan and schedule your work and social life 6 months ahead. Use the Send Sparky button to set up your calendar entries and invite others. Sparky has 9 calendar categories designed for an active Uber lifestyle with short form emojis for quick views. Fill in the Sparky card fields and send Sparky. It's really simple. Sparky uses the contacts stored on your phone, and if you don't give Sparky the permission, you can type in the number or email manually. Sparky gives you an instant update on the status of your invites on your calendar. And every time you receive a Sparky from someone, you get a notification on the home screen. If you accept the Sparky, it goes straight into your calendar.
Okay, so what is Sparky solving for? Well, if I was to make a big statement, the large statement would be a better post-COVID world. And if I was to break it down, I would break it down by saying we are addressing digital inequalities, productivity and efficiency, positive wellness, environmental negativity, and we are contributing to 9 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. What is the innovation? Well, I'm just going to sort of simplify it and stick to just some of the innovative points rather than doing a laundry list of it. It's a mobile-first product with a social exchange behavior design under the hood. The Sparky social exchange invite function works on a dual system of emails and mobile numbers, and depending on what is available, and people love it. It also offers users privacy. In-app calendar category skins are a digital first in calendaring. In-app business DMs is a revolutionary digital retail innovation. The product basically orients users towards success traits and positivity. In terms of simplicity in design and ease of use, it works across generations from boomers, millennials, Zs to alphas, and it appeals to new to digital calendar users as well. And 100% of the people polled across USA, Europe, and India agree to this. It's quick, efficient to view and use. The emoji and image-based GUI design, it's a collaborative invite feature, play to the biological and behavioral traits and needs of generation Alpha and Z. And in terms of usage, the usage meets with the requirements of boomers. What is the social impact of Sparky? We are, or rather I am looking at creating 600 plus jobs, 250 in Europe, 125 in USA, 250 in emerging Americas, and 35 in Greece. And I think we'll do better than this. I'm looking at increasing user productivity and efficiency from anywhere between 5 to 16.5%. We are addressing digital inequalities. Today, there are 3.6 billion odd or maybe larger, and 2 out of 3 children in urban conditions who are challenged by being digitally unequal. We are looking at potentially preventing 16 to 32 million human stress-induced accidents and fatalities. We are contributing to our environment by reducing CO2 emissions by 8,800 tons and saving 640,000 trees for every block of 4 million users. We are 500% energy efficient compared to average apps. And I have an employment target of 300 plus women and migrants in the offices that I set up all over the world. If I was to put all this in a nutshell, what we are looking at is an estimated 25% bump up in happiness index scores of economies where 40 to 45% of population uses Sparky. We are looking at a 25% reduction in workplace attrition through parallel use of Sparky with graduate workforce in 0 to 2, means graduate plus, by way of education qualification workforce in 0 to 2 years to firm in a medium age group of 22 to 27. Obviously, this is a starting hypothesis which will get established through studies over a period of time. And I'm very keen to establish this, which I think we can do with the go-to-market strategy that is being adopted. If you look at the market potential of Sparky, well, it's a no-brainer. I mean, it's simple maths, and all of you are really, you deal with this day in, day out, so you know this better than me. You're looking at estimated smartphone mobile users of about 6.5 billion, and this is roughly at 70 to 80% market penetration. Polls show that users are increasingly using at least 2 apps for the same type of product or services. Polls also show that there is an increasingly need for privacy, which is causing users to use dual calendars, one which is workplace provided and one which is personal. Polls also show that Sparky's social exchange collaboration feature has a very high appeal to new to digital and calendaring users, as well as those who still use Google and Outlook and all these sort of things, because all of these were desktop first designs. They were not standalone designs. They were support. They acted as a support function, essentially, to a primary email product.
Asha, your time is up.
Oh, that's fine. That was my last slide. So I think we made it just in time.
Yeah, we'll have the timer for the Q&A, please. Yours be open for question. So Vikram.
Good work,
Ram.
but you're already into crowded market, started with Google Calendar, Calendary, right? So what is your USP and how you wish to really compete in this segment?
Well, I think that's the entire point, that the market has only Google and Outlook. And these are all desktop.
No, Calendary is a new entrant, which is growing exponentially.
Sorry?
Calendary. Have you heard about Calendary?
Calendaring.
Calendary.
Calendly.
Calendly, yeah.
Yeah, I know they have about 10 million users. They're primarily in Africa, but if you see as a product, it's nothing but a Google Calendar. It's a business calendar. It offers you a video meet function. There's no differentiation between a Google and a Calendly, quite honestly. So it's not disruptive, it's not innovative. And people don't see the difference between a Google and a Calendly at all. That's one. I think the second thing is that
I would caution Asha, do not pass the judgment without using the product.
we
Calendly
have
is quite a disruptive product. Okay, just the caution, right? You are free to really your opinion, but don't pass the judgments.
No, I'm passing judgment based on polls and data, which we have painstakingly collected over the last many months. We have polled people in US, in Europe, and in India as well. And we have done a comparative poll among these products. We don't consider Calendly to be a competitor or even something to talk about, because it's nothing but an extension of Google. So if you look at Google and Apple and Outlook, these are the three primary products. That's the reason, in fact, why there is such a high poll forecast for Sparky's usage. All the users who look at the product just love it. And we have polled 250 people in US. We have polled an equal number.
Asha, let me cut it down. So this is the innovation award, right? So try to highlight what is the innovation. It is a design innovation, business innovation. What is the innovation you are bringing forward?
Well, I think the innovation that is being brought forward is, one is in the design, two is also in the business, three is in the process and the product. So there is an innovation cutting across all. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I have a question, Asha. See, it's very interesting. Of course, you say your innovation is not disruptive, but then you also made some fairly interesting claims about, carbon dioxide emission or about being able to prevent cutting trees.
Yeah.
I wasn't clear what was the basis for that.
Well, actually, these look, for all the claims that we have made, that are made in the presentation here, we have got it. I've got it validated by academicians in USA and in Europe, not in India, but in USA and Europe. We have got, because those are the primary markets for the product. India is not a primary market. It's so the basis we have used, the basis which has been used, is a formula which is which links essentially the kind of savings in terms of paper. If you transit a paper using a person who uses a paper calendar to a digital calendar, and it also looks at calculations where people who are new to digital, who don't use digital calendars or who don't use paper calendars at all, if they migrate to a digital calendar. So these are just some of the variants. It's a lot more complex, but these are calculations which have been done by research students, and therefore at an appropriate time. We have got the logic check done by experts, but I would love to do, I would like to do a white paper on this, and we are talking to some academics and institutions in Europe to actually develop this in a structured manner so that we can do a white paper and put it out. There's not much research done in this area, and we want to contribute to the
I
research.
appreciate that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. A little kind of devil's advocate point here. See, when we talk about paper saving, there is a valid argument. I mean, when you use the digital medium, there is a paper saving. It seems to be that you are not consuming paper, but some energy, when you are looking, see,
Yes.
you're also worried about now using
Energy.
devices.
Yes.
Devices also. So
Correct.
there's a proliferation of devices, and there's a
Yes.
proliferation of the requirement of energy.
Yes.
So I don't know, when they do the calculations, do they take these things into account carefully?
Yes, you're right. Thank you for this insight. And the calculations do factor in the fact they take in the storage usage, the memory usage, or the capacity usage of the product, and also the screens that go into the design process, and compare it with the average app. And that sort of translates into the energy efficiency calculations, because a product which is taking, say, 100 MB or 150 or occupying 300 MB on your handset is likely to be, is going to be less efficient than a product which occupies only 10 MB space on your handset. So these are some of the factors that have gone into these calculations.
Okay.
Hi, Asha, Ravi here. For a heavy calendar user like me, whose life is dependent on calendar, can you help me very quickly break down what exactly, like, what are the few couple of highlights of Sparky which makes it different from many other calendar products? Number one. Number two, if you can, okay, let's finish the question one, then we go to.
No, go ahead. Ask me.
Question two is that I would love to understand the digital inequality and how you're solving it.
Okay, great. So I'll take your first question first, because that's an easier thing to solve for at this point in time. Look, it's like this. I'll ask you, what calendars do you use, if I may ask you, please?
So I use Google Calendar and Calendly, a mix of both.
You use both? Okay, awesome. Tell me something. If you have to have a coffee meetup with a friend of yours, or with a business, a very senior, say a Bill Gates or something, whom you know personally very well, but maybe you do work with them also. How do you set up these meetings with them?
So for people where I need to request for their time, I check their time and send them a calendar invite. People who seek my time, they use Calendly, look at free slots, and they book a slot, and my team approves or decline that request.
Okay, so that's all work related. But tell me, if you have to go for a coffee meetup, which is sort of informal or semi-formal, or you need to go out for lunch with your friends, or you want to look, like, for example, I deal with owners of companies and my peers. I would consider XYZ to be my peer. That's how it is. And so you don't want to use your office to set up those meetings, right?
No, I'll share something personal, which is, I mean, not appropriate for this, but because my schedule is so busy, most of my personal things, even going on a date with my girlfriend, is dependent on Google Calendar, because both of us are working, and it's one platform where we can see each other's schedule and we know exactly when we are going to be free. If I have to use something personal, I have to make sure that my work schedule is not getting affected, because my work calendar is not synced. If you can sync it with a more casual and fun calendar, then I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. Since it's been designed keeping users in Europe and USA in perspective, and the reason why we are not launching it in India, we don't think it'll work, is precisely for these reasons. Here's the thing. Most of the other people, especially when you want to invite your girlfriend out, you don't send her a Google invite. Today, you're sending a Google invite because you don't have an alternate. The alternate to Google is your Calendly. Both of these are inappropriate, highly inappropriate. Similarly, if I know Bill Gates personally, I wouldn't be sending a Google or Calendly, and he agrees with me. He doesn't, but someone equivalent agrees. This is where Sparky comes in. It's an alternate channel for your meetups. And this is what alphas and Zs today relate to. See, since you're a heavy calendar user, you've probably been using these products for the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. You're used to this. It's habitual. But the people, the alphas and Zs, etc. today, we are in a post-COVID world. We have different lifestyles. They're digital-first lifestyles. They're mobile-first lifestyles. So this is a product which has been built and designed for them. This will be the first calendar for most of the people going forward. And gradually, the way I see it is for boomers and others, the usage comes in when they start using it for coffee meets, for coffee meetups, for hanging out with their friends, for playing golf games, for your investing meetings with your bankers, etc., so on, for your business meetings as well. The old way of doing work and meetings has changed. We don't do it that way anymore. It's done quite differently. So that's where this will come in. In workplaces, it's a great alternate channel for doing all these things, which will help in addressing issues of attrition and so on and so forth.
Wonderful. So if I may summarize, it's a fun.
And in addressing the issues of the generational divide.
Asha, sorry. Okay, go ahead. I really want to come to the second question, the digital inequality, but I think we're running out of time because I don't think we've answered that, and I don't know if the jury.
Asha, we can take that question if you could be precise.
I'm sorry, Asha. Just summarizing. So to make it a one-line pitch, it's a fun calendar for Gen Z and Gen Alpha.
No, it's a product for all across age groups. In fact, boomers love it the most. They want to use it for their, at least in Europe. See, the primary markets are Europe and US. So we've done the polls there. We ran it in India too. And boomers love it as well. They want to use it. It's for people with spark, essentially.
Done.
If you have spark,
Asha, you have a question.
The product.
You have a question with Mr. Rahul.
Yeah,
your time is up. I can take that one question.
Yeah, same as Ravi. I think digital inequality. Because look, one of the things I see, Asha, is you said in the beginning you said it's not disruptive. Then you did say that Calendly wasn't disruptive either. You also said that this was for Europe and America, but you also say that it's going to address digital inequality.
Yes.
I'm just trying to sort of balance all of this in my head. If you don't mind, please explaining the last.
Sure, I'll explain it to you. And thank you so much for giving me the time extension to answer this question. It's an important question and the cornerstone of the philosophy of Sparky, in fact. Look, let me tell you how we are doing it. I think one of the first things when you're looking at creating impact, the first thing we are doing differently from a Calendly and other people is we are setting up offices and creating local employment for people. How are we addressing digital inequalities? We are addressing digital inequalities by making sure that we are onboarding people to adopting digital in their everyday lives in an everyday manner by getting them to use a very simple calendar. You'll be surprised at how many people don't actually use calendars. Only people who are employed and very busy. And that's not actually use a Google or Outlook. Most people don't use calendars, and that too, they use it only for work, not for everything in their lives. So when you're looking at productivity, efficiency, so on and so forth, you want the last person down the value chain to also use a calendar, not the top 1% or 2% of the population, which is what the calendaring current usage is. So I want the taxi driver, we want the rail conductors, we want the average student, etc., so on and so forth, to use this. We want housewives to use it. We want people to use the product outside.
I'm
so
sorry,
that's
I have
to address digital inequality. The Sparky, the
time is up.
We got the point.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
The time is up.
I'm glad I was able to answer, but in case I haven't answered it